Hello, Potato, and welcome to Weekend Magic for June the 24th, 2023. Now, this coming week, we'll see the release of what is almost certainly going to be the last Indiana Jones film, at least the last one starring Harrison Ford. Maybe they will recast it and give us some kind of prequel movies, which I would not object to. Maybe they will reboot it, which I strongly object to. I would not want to see the first 5 films erased. Yes, I'm including the 5th one, even though I haven't seen it yet. Obviously haven't seen it yet because I'm sure it'll be fine. The first 4 were fine. I say this having just recently watched all 4 of them again, including Crystal Skull, which is, I'm gonna reiterate, really no worse than Temple of Doom. The only really truly objectionable part of it, aside from Shia LaBeouf, but you can get past that, I can get past it anyways, is the refrigerator scene, because yeah, that just really doesn't make any sense. But like the animals, the monkeys and stuff, you know what? Indiana Jones films, all of them, have issues with animals behaving in wholly unbelievable ways, like masses of snakes that wouldn't be together, being together, and not only being together, but staying in place. Same thing with bugs, like the bug section in Temple of Doom. When they go to the big hallway full of bugs, it feels like stepping on fortune cookies. Those aren't fortune cookies. Yeah, how is that whole palace not infested with bugs if there's that many of them in that one space? So yeah, I'm not going to say that Crystal Skull was particularly any worse than at least than Temple. Which is funny, because when I was a little kid, Temple was my favorite. I think because Temple was the first one I saw, at least the first one I remember seeing in theater. I don't remember if I saw Raiders in theater or not, but I know I saw Temple. But as I've grown older, the original Raiders is my favorite now. Raiders is and remains my favorite, and I don't imagine the 5th one's going to change that. But I am still very hopeful. Now, of course, with a new release in the series comes a new release of merchandise. And I mean, we had some good stuff last year. We had those wonderful prop reproduction pieces that I loved. And I will note that all the ones that I bought are sold out. The 2 I didn't buy, they're still available. And they're also still full price, which is why I haven't bought them. But last time, when Crystal Skull came out, there was tons of cool merchandise. There was a Potato Head, Taters of the Lost Ark figure. There was like preschool toys. There were Lego, which I still to this day regret not getting more of. There was a really nice Monopoly set, or at least really nicely packaged. It was like a little wood crate. There was a great talking 12-inch action figure, like in the style of those old 12-inch Star Wars figures or G.I. Joes. And this time, not so much. I mean, as you will see in today's video, that hasn't stopped me from getting things, but I have overall not been as impressed with the quantity or variety of items. But again, there's been some gems here. And we're going to start off with, usually I start with like the smallest thing, but today we're going to start with the biggest thing, because it's also the oldest thing. It's not actually part of these new releases. It came out last year, I think right around or maybe before the prop items did. And that is this big chunky fella here. The giant Funko Pop of Indiana Jones from the Indiana Jones Adventure at the Disney parks. It's Pop number 885. It's massive, and it does have the fertility idol. Now, I had no intention of buying this because it's huge. I have nowhere to store this. The only other pop, I think I only have one other pop this size, and that is the Grogu Pop that I did kind of impulse buy back in 2020 because Box Lunch posted on their Instagram that they had it, and I was out of work at that point because of the end of the world. I mean, I wasn't like unemployed, I just wasn't going to work. So I was able to kind of rush right over to the mall, realize they actually had much reduced hours and weren't opening until like noon. But I got one of those. And I did that in a video like way back then, like 3 years ago. There's a video that features that. Now this, actually we got this last year, and I don't remember using it in a video, which is why it's here today. If I've already covered this in a video, well, there's a fairly good chance you didn't see it anyway, so it's new to you. And despite being around the house here for a good year now, it is still in good condition, and also not really having a permanent place to store it. It is from the Indiana Jones Adventure Temple of the Forbidden Eye ride. It's not really, even though it's him holding the golden idol from Raiders, it's not actually a movie item. And the only real problem with it is that whoever at Shop Disney opened it up was a little box cutter happy. I mean, if you've worked retail, you've been there. It happens. Your box cutter is just open a little too wide. You're maybe a little too, just a little too quick with it, and you cut into the display box, which is unfortunate when it's a collectible. But you know, if I do find, well, when I do find a place for this to, like, you know, be its forever home, you're not gonna be able to see that anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. The figure's perfect, and it's gonna stay in the box. We're not taking it out. We're gonna only take one thing out of the box today, and it's not that. Now from there, we will go on to little things, to wee things. Or, well, one wee thing, one small thing. And I'm not even gonna move the camera to show it, because it is just the one, and that is this. So I mentioned a couple videos back that they released, I mean, I think these are available just for purchase now, but they released at the time a small collection of items for Disney Plus subscribers. And naturally, they only released like one pin, and it was this one, and naturally I did pick it up. It's limited release, double pin back, and it is the headpiece to the Staff of Ra from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Which, of course, you know, if you remember, I have the Raiders headpiece prop reproduction. I showed that off last year when that came in. And this is not as detailed as that. It doesn't like have the writing on it. But otherwise, I mean, as far as pins go, it's quite nice. It's not the only Indiana Jones pin we have, but it's the only one they put up on Shop Disney anytime recently anyways. And I wonder if there's more of them in the park, but this is what was available on Shop Disney. So yeah, we did pick it up. It's nice. It's not flat. It is kind of carved out in the general shape. Maybe not quite as three-dimensional as the real thing or even the prop reproduction, but still, it's nice. You can tell what it is. It looks pretty good. That's the smallest item. Now it just gets bigger from there, just bigger from there. Suppose next we should go to another one of those Disney Plus items. And it's one that I did not get initially, and then we went back and we ordered it. And that is this. The Indiana Jones satchel. So I knew it wasn't going to be super big, because I mean, the one he carries is a lot smaller than the one I carry on my daily basis. So I wasn't too shocked when it, you know, this showed up. Now, I don't know what this is. If you know what this piece is supposed to be, please let me know in the comments, because I have no idea what that signifies, what it's a reference to. Not a clue. But it is very reminiscent of Indy's satchel. I feel like his is maybe, no, it's definitely canvas in Temple, because it rips like canvas when the Sankara stones come through it. But it's fairly small. This would actually be pretty good for like use in park, because the only thing I usually carry in park is like a water bottle and like some hand sanitizer and tissues and my camera stuff. So this actually would probably be pretty good for that. Now, from the outside, you would be excused for not knowing this is an Indiana Jones item. There's nothing on the outside that says Indiana Jones, screams Indiana Jones, hints at Indiana Jones. I'm assuming faux leather strap here is pretty nice. I'm not going to unstrap it though. We do have a good sturdy looking ring here, which I do like. It looks like this would hold a fair bit of weight. I mean, I don't know about, you know, fighting over some Sankara stones over a river full of crocodiles with it, but it feels like it would hold a good amount of stuff. But inside, so there's no reference to that side of the Indiana Jones, but inside we do have a burnt-in pattern of the headpiece to the Staff of Ra. Also, some pockets. And kind of nice, there is holes at the bottom, so I guess like if you get some water in it, you know, like you put your water bottle in here, which looks like that would actually be perfect for a smallish water bottle, and it leaked, at least the water would come out the bottom, it wouldn't just puddle in there, which is also the bag ice won't puff up full of air. And some other pockets, you could put some hand sanitizer, a packet of tissues, whatever in there. Put the camera package in this main compartment, and you could clip something on there. Compass, some Paracord, I don't know. It's yours. Use your imagination. This one's mine though, and short of going to the park, I don't know what I would use it for. I mean, I have a satchel for conventions. It's way too small to replace my like weekend satchel, which does need replacing. It is an old Think Geek bag of holding, and it is not doing so great on the holding anymore, at least not the holding of itself together. I just haven't found anything to replace it with. But yeah, this is not going to be a replacement for that. This is too small. It's nice, but it is too small to be like an everyday use sort of an item. Now there's one more thing we got from that Disney Plus early release collection, but we're going to save that for last because that we're actually going to open. So next, let's move on to probably the dumbest things I've bought. But honestly, one of them is kind of maybe my favorite. So, you know, well, maybe you don't know, but I have mentioned before that I try to avoid like buying the popcorn buckets and the sippers at Disneyland, which is why when I was lucky enough to go twice last year, I came back both times with a popcorn bucket and a sipper. But now you don't even need to go to the park to get a popcorn bucket and a sipper, because you can go down to your local Cinemark theater, because even though the movie doesn't come out until later on in the week, they announced on their Facebook last week that they were going to be getting these in while supplies last. And so we did earlier this week head over to our local Cinemark, and we lucked out. The woman who sold us them at the concession booth said we were smart to come early because they probably would be sold out by the time the movie actually released. Indeed, look at, they had just gotten these in because they were still in boxes. And that is essentially a sipper. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny only in theaters, which is only true for a very short time. And if that looks weird, that's because it also comes with this, which I haven't opened yet. It did come with a soda, and yes, we did get a soda with it because this was not an inexpensive thing. It was price-wise fairly in line with buying a sipper at Disneyland. But it does come with a hat. We just used a normal lid when we filled our soda in this, but it comes with its own little fedora, which I think, actually, will that fit on him? Not quite. And also it's off camera, but it does not quite fit on the bust from the Haunted Mansion. Yeah, this is definitely one of the dumber Indiana Jones things I've ever purchased, but I'm not regretting it. I like it. But the thing I like more is the other. This is the thing that actually just moved me to buy these to begin with, and that is this. The Indiana Jones, the Dial of Destiny popcorn bucket. Aluminum. Made in China, hand wash only. And yes, it did come full of popcorn, and arguably probably more popcorn than a Disneyland popcorn bucket would come with. But I don't know how well it shows my camera. I feel like, at least on the little preview screen here, it's not super visible. It does say Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny only in theaters. Oh, sorry, only in cinemas. That says only in theaters. This is only in cinemas because they're fancier, although that is theaters, RES, not ERS, so that's fancy too. And yeah, I don't know why they feel the need to put the only in theaters, only in cinemas on there, because again, it's only in theaters and cinemas for a relatively short time, and then it's going to be on streaming forever after on some service or another, I am sure. I'm sure Disney Plus will happily lease it out to somebody else for a while, but these are arguably a couple of the dumbest Indiana Jones things I've ever bought. But then again, keep in mind I also bought at Disneyland one time Woody's boot full of root beer and ice cream, so I'm not against buying dumb things just because they look cool. We'll put that in there. I really do like the bucket. I like the texturing on it. It's got the kind of not quite hammered, but I feel like they're kind of going for sort of a hammered look to it. Nice little embellishment along the top here. Held a good amount of popcorn, honestly. Yeah, that is honestly, I think one of the more fun Indiana Jones things I have picked up. Next, let's pivot over to Target, where last week, well, the week before last now, they had a sale on like board games and books and video games. And the two closest targets to me had nothing much of real interest. But we ended up going to a slightly farther away target on a day I thought the sale had actually ended. But weirdly, the sale wasn't like Sunday to Saturday like the sales usually were. It was Sunday through Sunday. So we had one extra day of sale. And we happened to find at this Target one of the new Indiana Jones board games, Sands of Adventure, which again does appear to be based on Raiders of the Lost Ark, the best Indiana Jones movie. You've got Marion, you've got the head of Ra, they have a new Monopoly version, but it's not nearly as nice as the old one. This is, I think, the best looking game that I've seen. There's like 3 or 4 new games, I think, including the Monopoly. But this is the most interesting looking one. You get little figurines, you got Marion, you got Sala, is that Belloc? Or is that Brody? I think it's Brody. I thought it said on here somewhere. You got Indy, Marion, Sala, and I think that is Brody. I could swear it said somewhere. Maybe I read it online. But it's got a little like sand timer in it. It's up to Indiana Jones and his friends to rescue the Ark of the Covenant before it falls into the wrong hands. We don't want to say the word Nazi, I'm assuming. Scour ancient Tanis to find the elusive relic while building up your strength and resources, but beware, if the sand timer suddenly swings over, it triggers a race to survive. Battle the scheming Colonel Dietrich, the dangerous Major Todt, and his ruthless Dr. Rene Belloc to save the Ark. Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting at the very least. Yeah, I think that's Brody. Anyways, that's not the thing we're opening today, though. It was here. I thought we're doing Indiana Jones stuff. We should look at like all the Indiana Jones stuff, because I probably will be doing another Indiana Jones video at some point. I feel like the chances of us buying more indie stuff is pretty good, especially if any better stuff comes out. All right, we're closing on the end here, though. We're closing on the end of this video, and we're going to finish with action figures. Now, I've already discussed the Indiana Jones Lego. I have, of course, bought all 3 sets. I even did a video on the day they came, or technically, I guess the day after they came out. It was a while ago. I know the day I bought it, I came home and did. So I think it was the day after it came out that I actually released the video of the Raiders of the Lost Ark set. But so we're not going to talk about those in videos, at least not until I get around to putting the other 2 together. Sadly, it doesn't seem like we're ever going to get the Temple of Doom one, which I understand why. Or at least from what I've heard, I understand why. And it doesn't seem like there's none that's been announced or leaked for Dial of Destiny, which is disappointing. But there are action figures from Hasbro, kind of in the style of like those Marvel Legends. We have the Indiana Jones Adventure series. Now, I've only seen in stores these 2 and Sala, and I do regret not getting Sala when I saw him. At the time, he was the only one I'd seen. But they have more than just this. The box here shows Club Obi-Wan Indy, which we have here. Belloc in his ceremonial garb. Raiders Indy, which I think is another one in this kind of packaging. Sala in his in-country attire. I don't know the most delicate way to phrase that. Marion Ravenwood and Arnold Todt, who I hope comes with the little hanger. I always thought the hanger was a very interesting piece. But see over here, though, we have not pictured on the box. We have Kazim, who is got the same other figures shown on there, except for Club Obi-Wan Indy. Now, interesting is something. So they not only do they appear to be in the style and indeed the modern packaging of Marvel Legends, there are some of them that are not build a figure, but build an artifact. So I believe Saul is one of them, but the ones from Raiders, you can build the Ark of the Covenant. The ones from Temple of Doom, not including Club Obi-Wan Indy here, you can build the skulls with the Sankara stone in it from like the temple itself. And I don't know what you would get. I haven't seen enough of the ones from Last Crusade to know what you build in that, because I feel like the Ark of the Covenant, the Grail is not particularly a thing you can build. It's a cup. I mean, they come with the accessories of these. So Indy comes with the antidote, the diamond, the flaming skewer, which I think is actually pretty funny. And was it the ashes? Wasn't that somebody's ashes, wasn't it? I just watched the movie like 2 weeks ago. You'd think I'd remember, but I mean, it's such a minor thing in the beginning of the movie. And then Kazim comes with guns. Bunch of guns. 3 guns to be exact. I guess 3 is a bunch for one guy, right? And you can only have 2 hands. But those aren't the ones I'm opening today. There's one other figure we got as part of the Adventure Series, and this is the 3rd item we bought from Shop Disney as part of that Disney Plus release, and that is the deluxe Indiana Jones Temple Escape figure. Deluxe because it comes with the fertility idol and its little base, its creche, its pedestal, as well as other accessories. So this we are actually going to open because I do want to actually put this one out on display. So let's open up and take a look at it. Because I really haven't seen what the quality of these figures is yet. I'm assuming it's going to be Marvel Legends quality, which is fine. Those are perfectly competent figures. And if it's like that, then I'm good. I mean, even if it's not like that, I suppose I'm good because I'm opening it and I won't be able to return it. It doesn't want to come out of the box. Why doesn't it want to come out of the box? Well, there may be some edits to this. I legitimately have no earthly idea what it was caught on in there, but it's out now. All right, so I have no idea what the cardboard was caught on, but I've got it all out now. We've got, it's like warnings in like 5 billion languages, don't care about that. Everything is wrapped in this special Indiana Jones paper. Do I need to save this? I think it is. It's like the map. It's the map from the travel sequences. That's kind of cool. We'll put that back in the box. Keep everything in the box. So there's our little pedestal. It looks like it does. It drops down. I mean, it's not super impressive, but it's cool that it does it. So here, this little baggie, we have, I'm guessing, all of our accessories. It's definitely the idol, and it feels like the whip. Wow, that is a teeny tiny little idol, isn't it? But I mean, it's about the right scale. Oh, it doesn't stand up though, does it? There we go. We've got 2 whips. We've got Whipping Whip, and we've got Belt Loop Whip. We've got Indy's pistol. We've got the bag of sand. And then last, and certainly not least, we have Indy, who looks like he is just risen from the dead. Let's see if we can do something about that. Ooh, that face. That is... Indiana Jones toys. That didn't break, did it? Okay, no, the hand comes off. All right. That word. There's no extra hands though. Why does the hand come off? All right, so yeah, the faces on Indiana Jones figures can be something. I think because I guess Harrison Ford has never like actually licensed his face to them. Let's see if we can get this together. Okay, I think that's a reasonable facsimile of put together and decently displayed. I will point out that these are for ages 4 and up. I do not feel like these are a good item for a 4-year-old or really for playing with at all. So first of all, I think I probably have left in, Indy's hand popped off like way too easily to the point that I thought it was broken. It's not broken, it pops right back on. But yeah, it comes off way too easily. A child is going to lose that or eat it or who knows what very, very quickly. The holster and the whip do go nicely on the belt, but they are held in place by little tiny pegs that go into little tiny holes, and the little tiny pegs are like rubbery, so they don't have any real force to be driven into the hole. I think I got it again, but I had it before and it popped back out. So that's a little frustrating. As far as articulation goes, the head certainly got pretty good articulation on it. Shoulders are good. The knees and the elbows are both very stiff, at least to start with. I mean, that may wear out over time. I mean, that may be in a bad way, wearing over time. The look on Indy's face is not fantastic, and I should have this guy like the Figma Indiana Jones, and I feel like I have a similar issue of making it stand in a way that doesn't look like he's risen from the dead. But I feel like if you pose him over like this, it looks pretty good. He does, the hands are nice and rubbery, so I mean, while that hand is clearly meant to hold his pistol, it also holds the bag of sand quite nicely. And overall, the paint job is really good. Face aside, everything else looks pretty good. The jacket's nicely detailed, nicely painted. We even have kind of authentic wear marks on it. He's got his satchel here under the jacket. On the box, it shows that you can take that off. I'm not quite sure how, unless it's got its own little seat there this came out again. Yeah, I wouldn't buy this for a child to play with. They have those other ones. They're like kind of a step between this and preschool toys. I would get that for a child if you want to get a child one of these, or just the Lego. No, not the Temple Lego though, because that is a display kit. That is not really a play with kit at all. But yeah, there's issues with these. I do think the idol, for as small as it is actually really nicely detailed. I mean, it's not super sharp detail, but given how small it is, I really can't complain about it. I do think the pedestal it's on is really well done. There's a lot of detail work in there. I do like that it does go down. It doesn't go down like in any sort of like delicate way, but I mean, the fact that it does it is a nice little bit of attention to detail. Depending on how, if you want to have it posed after he's just picked up the idol and it's gone down, you can do that. But I think as a display piece, this is pretty good. As a play piece, I think it's awful. I absolutely would not encourage you to buy this for a child to actually play with. This is going to go back in the box because otherwise I will just lose it. I'm going to leave the one on his belt as the one with him. But overall, I mean, again, for a display thing, which is what I'm going to do with it. I mean, display thing, maybe do some toy photography with it. Probably not me, because I don't get that detailed into some of these things. But if you're somebody who does toy photography, this would not be the worst one to do it with. Plus, it is about the same scale size to a Star Wars Black Series figure or a Marvel Legends figure. So if you're crossing the streams or just kind of mixing all your Disney stuff together, you can have Adventure Series Indy meet Black Series Han and go on an adventure to battle Doctor Doom, I don't know, Thanos, somebody. But overall, no, I think it's an awful play with toy, but I think as a display toy, it's absolutely fine. But that does catch you up on where I am with my Indiana Jones collecting as far as the new movie merchandise goes. I just put that totally off camera, didn't I? Here we go. But I do think, honestly, the bucket is, I am unreasonably pleased with the popcorn bucket. There's nothing here I don't like, but for some reason, that bucket, despite being one of the dumbest things in my collection, is, I quite like it. But this has gone on long enough, and indeed, if you actually sat this whole thing, the movie's just about ready to come out, so you should probably go get your tickets. I hope to go and see it this weekend, this coming weekend. So maybe not next Saturday's video, but maybe the weekend after that. Maybe I'll even have some more Indiana Jones stuff at that point, and we can talk a little bit about the film. But that wraps up for today. This has gone on long enough. I hope you found it all interesting and entertaining. Let me know in the comments, which piece do you think is the best one? And have you had any experience with the Adventure Series figures? I mean, aside from these ones, or even these ones, what do you think about them as far as like display worthy versus play worthy? And do you think the bucket is anywhere near as cool as I do? Yeah, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.